and welcome back. Pretty good episode. A little bit disappointing, obviously, that we didn't get the recoupling. It seems like there were some issues with the app. Curious to know how everyone voted. I obviously voted to break Sincere and Melanie up because I'm here for the meltdown. So let's get into the aftermath. Obviously, we're still dealing with Soul and Sincere kissing and that whole fallout. So, of course, we start with who else but town gossip, Anaya and Melanie, because Melanie has to run and tell Anaya, right, about this kiss with Sincere and Soul. And she apparently knew that they kissed, Melanie did, because of the way that Soul moved his pants. Ladies, I am not with a man, so okay, that seems odd. And then she just wanted to let everyone know that she is not going to go crazy or do anything crazy in this villa. Like, she's not going to be chasing this man. He's not going to make her go crazy in the villa. And I sincerely doubt that. That's for damn sure. I sincerely doubt that. So then we get this conversation with Sincere, and he's talking to Zach and Bryce, and he's telling them how much, he loved kissing Soul, and how refreshing, and how he hasn't felt this way. And they're like, drop this crazy girl, Melanie. Drop it. They're trying to say it in the most neutral, I'm not trying to tell you what to do way possible, but they're like, run, brother, run. And then, of course, we have Kenzie and Corbin, and they're talking. And Kenzie is telling Corbin, hey, I did kiss Caleb, but when I was kissing Caleb, I was thinking about you. And it's very clear. And she says it herself. She never had a roster. She doesn't know how to deal with this. And it's very, very evident. Corbin tells her that, hey, if the honesty's there, then he's fine. She should go explore that, but she just has to brush her teeth extra hard tonight. That was a weird fucking thing to say. It felt, I don't want to say homophobic, but it threw me, and I didn't like it, and I don't like him. And then we have a chat between Trinity and Bryce, and she is very much like, do you like me? Like, do you even like me? Because you're not affectionate. And he's like, oh, no, I think it's growing. I feel like we've been really affectionate. And no, you guys are friends. Like, I'll give it to you. You guys seem like you're really good friends. But it's not giving, there's no sexual tension between the two of them. And I think Trinity is right to clock this and say it out loud. And I think Bryce is like mind melding her into thinking that they have a connection, a romantic connection. They don't. They don't have a romantic connection. And then he also says that it's making him uncomfortable. Like, the conversation about the fact that they're not affectionate with one another is making him, he says uncomfy. Ew, Bryce, you're turning 30. I need you to stop. Also, he was wearing pearls. So I think it's right. The most problematic man is wearing pearls. And for me, that's Bryce. And then we get Gabriel and B, and Gabriel does let B know that he did kiss both of those bombshells. And she has a very controlled reaction. And he's not trying to pick a fight, but he's like, you're mad. And she's like, I'm not jumping for joy, but like, we're both here. We're both exploring. Like, you're telling me you're honest. Like, what is there to be mad about? And this is the correct reaction. Melanie, I'm looking at you. That's the correct reaction on Love Island. And then Melanie runs up to the girls, okay? Because the girls are kind of starting to break off and have their girls chat of the night. And she's like, cheese mate. And so she's like, I have gossip, which she does. And so we learn that Gabriel has kissed both bombshells. And then she lets them know that Sincere did kiss Soul. And then they are screaming, blowing out the mics, just fucking screaming about this kiss. And it's like, calm down. Everybody calm down. It's going to be okay. And everyone else in the villa looks annoyed with all of these girls, which is fair because low-key, I was too. And then before bed, Melanie decides to pray. Girl, you need it. Find Jesus. That was the only thing with bedtime, except for I couldn't tell in this shot of Kenzie and Corbin if it was her finger in her mouth or his finger. So I don't know whose finger it was, but they're clearly touching a lot. So that's good. And so then it is daytime. And so Sincere is going to start off this morning by cooking breakfast with the boys and letting the boys know he does want to explore Soul. Okay, so he's very clear about this. And we all need to remember this, okay, because that's what he starts off the morning saying. Then we get a lovely couples chat between Zach and Bryce, and they're talking about how Bryce just, he didn't like it when Trinity said that. And is she trying to convince herself that she likes Bryce? And it's like, it's all fake, buddy. You guys are friends. There's no real romantic chemistry there. And by the way, you don't communicate that you like her in that way. Like, there's no sexual tension, there's no pursuit on your part, you're not interested in this woman sexually, which I think is crazy, but okay, Bryce. And so then we get a nice little morning chat between Soul and Jen, and Soul is relaying like that she really likes Sincere, and they had a really good chat. And then she's talking about when Melanie comes in, she was scared. And it was clear. So you ran the hell out of that room. So yeah, I would be scared. I would also be scared, mamas. And then, then we get really the piece de resistance of the episode. Okay, we get this chat between Special Agent Melanie and Sincere. And so she is really going down this line of questioning. How many times did you kiss? Where did you kiss? And, he's having to answer all of these. And then she just starts to escalate. That's my cat. Blue, get the heck out of here, boy. And so they're chatting, and she is just getting more and more escalated, right? She's like, well, you clearly like her, and you're going to go with her, and she's going to take you, and I'm going to be pissed. Don't hurt my feelings, because I'm going to be so mad at you, Blue. I'm mad at you, but I am going to be so mad at you. Blue, get off the table, sir. Ugh, darn cats. Can't live without them, can't live with them. And she's like, I will be pissed. So go be with her, but you can't come back here. You cannot come back here if you go over there. And she's getting more and more escalated. And he has his hand like over his mouth because he's trying to not let her know that he's fucking smiling. He's laughing. And then she just straight up asks, hey, I'm going to ask you a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. Do you want to explore? And he says no. He says no. Off the top of the head, that's a no for me. You're my number one. There's no one else here that I want to be with. I want to be with you. And God, and then they kiss. And then everything is right in Melanie's world for this very, very brief moment in time. Melanie then circles up with the girls and says it was a great chat, and she's feeling good and she's in a good mood, and her and Anaya are dancing around, and everybody is so happy. And Soul is with the boys, and he's like, no, like Melanie is legitimately my number one, but like Soul is on a buoy. The ship hasn't sailed. Okay, so you do want to explore, Sincere. So you do want to explore. Don't make me take Melanie's side in this. I don't want to be on Melanie's side. I need you to lock it down, sir. And at least just be honest. You do want to explore. And we know that he wants to explore because he then takes Soul up to Soul Ties. And they are there for apparently like over an hour, just chatting. And they are snuggled up. They are all wrapped up in one another, okay? It's intimate. There's kissing. It looks a lot like exploring to me. And it does to Melanie. And Melanie sees it. And Melanie, I don't know why she keeps on going over to Kata and Zach and talking, but I need her to stop. Leave those two alone. Those are not your friends. And they're like, what are you going to do? She's like, go crazy. But I'm not going to go crazy in this villa. Okay, Melanie. Okay, Melanie. And so then Melanie, out of spite, pulls Corbin, and they have, of course, Corbin's involved, so it is the most dry-ass, boring conversation. The only interesting moment is when Corbin, sitting 3 feet away from this woman, the touch barrier has not been broken, asks for a kiss. And Melanie says no. Because of Sincere, but also because of her girl, Kenzie. Because remember, she's a girl's girl. feels like you should have told Kenzie about pulling Corbin. But that's okay. She says she's going to go have that chat with Kenzie. And does she? Well, not right away. She goes and tells Anaya. That's who she goes and has a chat with. So she tells Anaya, oh, Corbin pulled me and he has to kiss me. And I said no. And I've got to talk, because I've got to talk to Kenzie. And then I was like, oh, girl, enough said. You ate with that. You ate with that. But then she doesn't go talk to Kenzie. She waits all the way. Okay, the whole day goes by. And if you give Anaya more than 0.5 seconds with any scrap of information, everybody's going to know about it. And they do. Anaya runs. Well, okay, so technically we don't see, because Melanie does say, don't tell anyone. We don't see Anaya say anything, but we do see Kenzie go up to the group, and some of the girls already know. And how do they know? They know because of Anaya. And so Kenzie does find out, not from Melanie, not from Corbin, but from the general population, that this chat happened and that he asked for a kiss. So now she is pissed at Corbin, and rightfully so. And then Melanie sees. Okay, Sincere tells a story, and he stands up in soul ties. So Melanie can see Sincere having a grand old time. She just starts crying, and you can see she's sad and she's crying. And then that flips, and it's rage. Oh, baby, it's rage. And she marches right up to those steps, and she's going to go pull Sincere. She's going to go break that shit up. And then Casey, you motherfucker, stops her. It's like, whoa. He's going to sense your energy. And he would. You're right. It would be a repellent to Sincere. And so, Casey, I mean, I guess you're being a good friend, but that's not good TV. Though I guess it does mean that the recoupling is going to be fucking crazy. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. But Casey really puts a damper on Melanie's big one that she's about to put in there. And I just wish that he would have let her loose. And so then we get B trying to comfort a crying Melanie. And she says, oh, crying is just stress leaving the body. And it is. And I love that. And honestly, okay, she says she's not good at comforting people because Melanie does end up like walking away and like running off. But I really feel for this, because sometimes when people are crying, I do say like, oh, that's just your nervous system trying to reset itself, because I find that really comforting when I'm crying. Other people don't feel that way though. So I understand. And then Kenzie is just kind of stewing, right? She's mad about the Corbin thing. And then we go ahead and move right into the night portion. So we only are getting like the front first half of the night portion. So it's not, we don't get a ton of it. But what we do get is, so Melanie and Kenzie finally have their chat. And what's really great about this is that it's actually Kenzie pulling Melanie, which is crazy. And Kenzie is straight up. She lets her know, like, hey, this did hurt me, and I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it, because I would never do that to you. I didn't even kiss Sincere in the challenge. Like, I just actually wouldn't do that to you. And Melanie is like, oh, no, but I do, you know, I really like you and we're friends, and I just would never do that to you, girl. But like, he is my type and I am doing it. And you should also talk to him about it, because she wants Corbin to be like, oh, by the way, we kissed. And Kenzie's like, oh, I already know. Yeah, of course she already knows. You fucking told Anaya. If you tell Anaya, everybody knows. So that's on you, Melanie. And honestly, the fact that you didn't pull her before you talked to Corbin or directly after you talked to Corbin tells me the kind of girl that you are. I mean, your whole behavior has told me the kind of girl that you are. I understand why you don't title yourself that way now. So then we get this really funny chat between Bryce and Sincere, which is essentially titled The Blind Leading the Blind, because Bryce is saying, oh, I might want to pull Kata just to see if anything's there. Pull Kata? Sir, you already tried that. And it didn't work. Don't you remember? She told you, get back to your side of the bed. I don't want to touch you. Go away. But Sincere is like, no, do it, because then you and Trinity can really test the strength of your relationship. Sincere, you should not be giving it. Is that going well for you? It doesn't seem like it's going well for you. It seems like it's about to blow up in your fucking face right now. But yeah, I agree. Let's have it blow up in Bryce's face, because that's That's fucking funny to me. So then, of course, Bryce goes to Zach because he has to talk to his lover about the fact that he's going to pull his lover's girlfriend. And so this was maybe my favorite chat of the night because when Bryce tells Zach, Zach literally laughs, thinks he's joking, is like, oh, are you serious? And then he says, oh, she's going to laugh at you. And I think Zach has clocked this correctly. So he's not sweating, nor should he be, because Bryce ain't no barking up that tree. That ship has sailed. There's no buoys there. I can tell you that. Right now. And so then we kind of close out the night with this chat between Bryce and Trinity, where Bryce is letting Trinity know, hey, I am so sorry. I am going to pull Kata. And Trinity lets us know she's not fucking with that. And she lets Bryce know, I don't fuck with that. And I think she's totally right for this because Bryce has just been saying, oh, how much he likes her and how their foundation is growing. And then to pull this, I am going to try to chat to Kata. Doesn't feel great. Bryce, I don't like you. You had a brief shining moment, okay, when you were saying that stuff about Melanie, because that was true. But you're right back down to the bottom for me. I don't like you. Get off my screen. Honestly, I know that Bryce is going to be safe through this next vote, but I really wish he wasn't. So that is where we leave things. I am sure tomorrow we will get the recoupling, and then we will finally see the Melanie crazy blow up that we have all been waiting for. We're right on the edge of it. So tune in. I will be here with my wife. Shout out to her for running the iPad. Thank you to all of you. I have 10 whole freaking subscribers. So thank you to my 10 subscribers. I love you so much.